Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you're just not getting ahead? What if I told you that the problem isn't your skills, it's not your intelligence level, it's not your circumstances, but it's a few mindset and routine mistakes that you're probably making and don't even realizing it. And in the end, it's sabotaging your success. Hi, I'm Kristen. I am a mindset and routine expert, and for the last over 20 years, I have been helping business leaders and business owners grow their success through the power of their mindset and the routines that they've put in place. I created Saige Unplugged to bring you on the journey with me while I work on my own mindset and routine. And this month, I am reading Through Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, and just use the weekends to do a little reading while enjoying a cocktail and work on myself and bring you with me. So let's dig into these 3 mindset mistakes that are holding you. The first mistake, believing that success is fixed, not developed. Maybe you think, well, they are successful because of this, or they're going to be successful anyways because look at their parents, or look at where they went to school, or look at the opportunities that they've had that I haven't. Success is not fixed. So many of the books that I've read are inspirations by individuals who came out of nowhere. I mean, I just finished reading What Power Broke last month in March, and Daymond John started Fubu out of, his mom's kitchen table and selling his hats out of the trunk of his car. Adam takes us through several case studies of individuals that had wild success that did not start on the all-star player or the expected talent, like with these young chess stars. So if you can get out of your mind that success happens because of where you came from, or the title that you have, or the status that you have, and that success is something that is ongoing and needing constant development, then that's how you can truly begin to unlock your hidden potential. When we realize that we are never going to get to a final end-all destination and just post, that we will need to constantly be evolving ourselves and growing, because things are going to come at us that we need to be prepared to pivot and change with. And when we can pivot and change with those things because our development is ongoing, then that's where success continues to build and continues to grow, or continues to just leave us at a status or a level that we believe we want to be at. So mindset mistake number 2, only focusing on your strengths and ignoring those things that might be called weaknesses or opportunities. This is a hard one. I know that I was super guilty of doubling down on something that I already knew I was great at and trying to shine even brighter in that area, and just sweeping things that I wasn't great at kind of under the rug, if you will. In my business journey, I have always been really great at, the customer engagement piece, even product, branding, displays, the total picture of taking it from what does the customer want to how does it look, when it's presented to them, and telling the story of that particular brand. Where I struggled with was believing in myself and my abilities that I was good enough. Also finances. I was always terribly afraid of finances. Even in my personal life, I kind of set things up on auto pay and I would never log into my bank account. I just landed up for a while doubling down on what I knew I was great at. I focused on training how to be a great salesperson, or I focused on training how to set up beautiful displays, or what to buy for your business that is trending and that your customers will want, and deliver your profit margin. It's when I realized I'm scared of engaging with people who are better and more successful than me that I really began to unlock my own potential and realize how much I had yet to learn. You hear this phrase of don't be afraid to be the dumbest or most inexperienced person in the room. Well, that was definitely me. I would try to make sure I only positioned myself where I knew I would look like the shining star versus pushing myself to discomfort and surrounding myself by individuals who were already 3 or 4 steps ahead of me and seeing the value and taking them on as a friend or a mentor. Mindset mistake number 3, thinking that hard work alone equals success. Oh my goodness. If you've listened to any of my episodes, I am so guilty of this. I was the one that had no problem with 60-hour work weeks. I will just go. And to this day, I'm still, I don't know, called the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going. I prided myself on being the one who worked hard, longer hours, who could accomplish more things during my shift or, what was put on my plate, juggling more things. And I never attributed that success was also feeling uncomfortable and learning and taking time to be developed and to develop myself, taking time to look at, am I just staying busy to look successful versus am I doing things that really will equate to financial growth? So how do you unlock your hidden potential? Wrapping up today, let's realize that it's not about being perfect. It's not about looking like you have it all together. I think in my last week's episode, I talked about how I just put up these walls of like, I'm a great mother and I'm a great wife and I'm a great business leader, all these things. But it's about being willing to be humble and be willing to grow. And that truly starts in your mindset. Taking time to, yes, positive affirmations about how talented and capable you are, but also gratitude and taking time to develop yourself. Reading. I started off just reading 3 pages a day, listening to things that will develop you versus listening to maybe just entertainment factor things like maybe music or, sports. You got to have a balance. If you love sports, you got to still catch that. But are you taking time to listen to something that will challenge your thought process and listen to those that are 3 or 4 steps ahead of where you are and how did they get there? What is their mindset on things? Take this week to recognize, are you making any of those mistakes? If you're making all 3, like I have and were, pick one of them and recognize in yourself what you need to pivot in your mindset. And then in your routine, do you need to start journaling? Do you need to start a mentorship relationship? Do you need to start reading or listening to something that will challenge your thought process and your perspective of things? So get after one of those mistakes and start working on yourself so you can pivot and right set your mindset to head in the right direction towards your goals and your ambitions, and then put into place a routine that will help you maintain that and push yourself further. Don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I'm very excited as we're talking through this because I am wrapping up the details. I told you that a journal/book was coming and we are just a few weeks away from launching. So I'm very excited. Stay tuned for more on that. But even more so, thank you for being part of this journey with me. Thank you for staying and listening to the whole episode. And I appreciate the likes and the subscribes, but what really helps us is the shares. Who can you pass this on? Who needs to hear this? Who is your accountability partner who needs to know where your thought process is based on what you heard today? And understand that you will achieve exactly what you are setting out to achieve. Let's just work through some of those roadblocks in our mindset and our routine. I'll see you next time. Cheers.